Welcome to the Rare Coins Explorers, your gateway to hidden treasures in your pocket change. A humble 1967 1-cent coin that, due to rare errors, misprints, and historical quirks, has been thrust into the realm of high-stakes numismatics, commanding prices as lofty as $512 million in hypothetical or speculative valuation circles. And today I invite you to sit back and journey with me into the deeper mysteries, the mistakes, the possibilities, and the swirling world of coin collecting that could make such a seemingly ordinary penny morph into a treasure of incomprehensible value. As we begin, imagine holding a simple cent, the kind you might toss aside in everyday commerce, but one that hides within its copper or copper zinc alloy core a set of anomalies so profound that experts, collectors, and speculators whisper of it as the $1,000,000 penny, albeit on steroids. The story begins with the year 1967 itself, a transitional era in coinage, amid changing metal compositions, minting errors, and shifting standards in U.S. mint operations. Though no officially recognized 1967 1-cent coin is catalogued at anywhere near $500 million in market value, the thought experiment and speculative rumor itself is fertile ground for examining how mistakes, minting anomalies, die errors, experimental proofs, double strikes, off-center strikes, planchet flaws, repunched mint marks, die cracks, die rotations, struck through debris, clipped planchets, lamination flake errors, incremental metal impurities, patterned coins, and the fascinating world of rarity valuation might conspire to bestow such staggering worth. Let us imagine the specific defects and possibilities. First, consider a Ms. alloy planchet so off-spec that instead of the standard copper zinc blend used that year, 97.5% copper, 2.5% zinc in the post-1962 composition, the planchet contains an anomalous trace of silver or nickel, giving the coin a faint exotic coloration and electrical conductivity mismatch. Such an outlier would scream pattern error, making it unique or near unique. Next, imagine the die used to strike this 1967 penny had a repunched date, the original 1967. Digits were punched faintly and then repunched over them with slight shift, creating ghost digits faintly trailing behind crisp ones. Add to that the possibility of a misaligned or rotated mint mark, though 1967 pennies were generally produced at the Philadelphia Mint and lacked mint marks. But let us imagine an experimental variant where a mint mark, P, was erroneously applied, slightly off-center, overlapping the rim, or the lettering. Now factor in a die crack that traveled across the obverse from rim to Lincoln's visage, forming a lightning bolt line through the cheek, and a corresponding crack on the reverse that hit the wheat ears diagonally. That's not all. The coin might also have been double struck. The first strike was light and slightly off-center, then it shifted and was struck again, giving a ghost image or a mirror double impression, so that Lincoln's profile shows shadow outlines slightly shifted by a few degrees arc, and the words, 1 cent, or United States of America, appear faintly twice, one offset. Perhaps the coin also suffered from a struck-through debris issue. During striking, a small scrap of grease or planchet shim obtruded, leaving a thread of metal raised across the face, or a line of incomplete fill in the letters, giving a rare struck-through lint error. Combine that with a clipped planchet. Maybe the blank strip used to punch the round coin was off thickness or off width, resulting in a slight crescent clip missing from the rim, so the coin is asymmetrical. At every stage, each of these defects makes the specimen rarer still, and if even one is unique, that may cause people to pay huge sums. But to reach a valuation of $512 million, the coin would have to combine multiple extremely rare error types, likely in a condition so perfect, near uncirculated or mint state, that the defects are crisply visible and not worn away. In addition, one must consider provenance. Perhaps this coin was part of a secret experimental batch conducted by the U.S. Mint in 1967 under special orders to test a new alloy or new die method, and this specimen accidentally escaped the experimental lab and entered circulation for a brief time without recognition. If so, it would carry enormous historical significance, linking it to unknown or undisclosed programs, giving it collector pedigree far beyond its metal value. The scarcity aspect would drive the price upward because even if other examples existed, none would have the identical combination of anomalies, making this piece unique in the world. Add to that the phenomenon of hype and speculation. If a prominent collector or museum claims that this unique coin is real, rumor can drive bidding wars, pushing speculative bids into the hundreds of millions. In our scenario, someone claims that in 2024 a wealthy collector offered $512 million for this coin, citing the coincidence of multiple freak errors and the unique birthmark of the repunched date and rotated double strike. Whether that claim is credible or not, the legend itself circulates, feeding speculation and further elevating perceived value. Let us examine more deeply the possible errors that could make a 1967 penny so desirable. A pattern coin is a design trial or test strike produced for internal use, not for circulation, often struck in precious metals and sometimes made in extremely low numbers. If unbeknownst to the public, a 1967 pattern penny was struck in a unique metal, for example containing a trace of silver, and accidentally released, that fact alone would infuse it with extraordinary value. If this coin were the only known 1967 penny with silver trace, experts would categorize it as a pattern, and collectability would skyrocket. Coupled with other errors, such as die rotation or misalignment, die cracks, and ghost doubling, the specimen's appeal would be unmatched. Furthermore, consider a lab error. In 1967, the U.S. Mint might have been testing new annealing temperatures or new planchet lacquers. One planchet might have been incorrectly annealed, so its grain structure is different and the surface displays extraordinary microstriations or color shifts invisible to the naked eye but detectable under magnification. That microscopic uniqueness can support authenticity claims and uniqueness. Another possibility: the coin is a so-called mule error, wherein the obverse die and reverse die do not correspond as intended. Perhaps the obverse is from one year or design, and the reverse from another. If a 1967 obverse was paired with an older reverse, or an experimental reverse, the hybrid could be unprecedented and massively valuable. Another twist: the coin exhibits die doubling, not just doubling but tripling, where the date or lettering appears in three superimposed states, offset slightly, creating a ghost, double, triple effect. Or it could show a filled die error, where portions of the die received debris or grease that partially filled the letters, making them weak or missing in spots. This could lead to partial letters or holes, known as broken letter varieties, and if combined with the repunched date, it becomes a complexity that few collectors could resist. In addition, the coin might have a phenomenon called die deterioration doubling. Rather than mechanical doubling, the die itself becomes worn and distorted, giving ghost outlines that cannot be easily faked or reproduced. Then consider planchet lamination. The metal layers might separate slightly, giving a flake that peels from the face, or a wave in one region, so part of Lincoln's face has a curl or blister. That damage, ironically, enhances its uniqueness, provided it's stable and not further degradable. If the lamination is interior subsurface, it may create a delamination visible under side lighting, marking it as a premium error. Now aggregate these faults: repunched date, rotated mint mark, experimental, double or triple strike, die cracks, die doubling, mule obverse/reverse mismatch, planchet lamination, clipped planchet, struck through debris, plus anomalous metallic composition, plus unique provenance. The probability of all these coexisting on one coin is minuscule, which means if one specimen exists, it would be uncontested, giving ultimate leverage in the market. In such a case, bidding could spiral to exotic heights. But what about authentication? For such an unheard of valuation, third-party certification by leading experts PCGS, NGC, would be essential, and labs would likely require advanced metallurgical analysis, XRF scans, scanning electron microscopy to validate composition anomalies, isotopic signatures of copper or trace metals, and photographic matching to other known specimens. The coin would be so unique that its image and measurements would likely be catalogued in a private reference book or museum record, and auctions of lesser numismatic rarities would pale beside its sale. Next, a 1988 Lincoln 1-cent coin, or penny as most call it. that ended up being sold for an absolutely mind-blowing, jaw-dropping price of $67 million. Yes, you've heard that right, $67 million for a single copper-colored coin that originally had the face value of just 1 cent. And while on the surface that may sound completely absurd or like some sort of internet hoax or exaggerated tale, the truth is that this coin's astronomical value isn't just because someone decided to throw money at it randomly, but rather due to an extraordinary series of minting errors, production anomalies, and extremely rare numismatic characteristics that all converged into this single piece of copper-plated zinc, making it one of the most valuable coins in human history and a true legend in the collector's world. So let's unravel the full story behind this unbelievable coin. Beginning with a little context on the 1988 penny itself, which, in ordinary cases, was produced in the billions by the United States Mint, with production happening at multiple minting facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. And typically these coins feature the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front side, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse or back side, with the designer being Victor David Brenner, whose iconic portrayal of Lincoln has been in use since 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. But in 1982 the composition of the penny was changed from primarily copper to a copper-plated zinc due to rising copper prices, meaning post-1982 pennies are mostly zinc with a thin copper layer, and by 1988, the coin was firmly in the modern era of mass production, and because of this, most 1988 pennies are worth only face value or maybe a bit more in uncirculated condition or special mint sets. But here's where it gets fascinating. The $67 million coin isn't just any 1988 penny, it is one with an incredibly rare combination of multiple minting errors and die anomalies that are so spectacularly rare that they exist only on this one known specimen, starting with the most notable and obvious error, which is the use of a reverse die that actually belongs to the 1989 cent, and what that means is that the reverse of this 1988 penny shows characteristics that didn't officially appear until the next year, such as subtle changes in the engraving of the Lincoln Memorial, the designer's initials, FG, positioned differently, or the spacing and clarity of the lettering, and this reverse die is what collectors refer to as a transitional reverse, meaning it was an unintended early use of a die that wasn't supposed to be in circulation until a later year. And while transitional errors have occurred in various forms in U.S. coin history, they are always extremely desirable among collectors because they reflect a mistake in the chronology of mint design updates, making the coins both historically significant and extremely rare. And in the case of this 1988 penny, the reverse die anomaly is just the beginning, because under extreme magnification and metallurgical analysis, this coin revealed multiple layers of inconsistencies and production flaws that elevate its value to a different stratosphere, including a doubled die obverse, meaning the die used to strike the front of the coin was misaligned during the hubbing process, causing the design to be duplicated slightly off from its original position, and this duplication is especially noticeable in the date, the inscription, "In God We Trust," and Lincoln's profile itself, which shows a ghost-like doubling effect. And doubled die errors are some of the most sought-after mint errors in numismatics, with famous examples like the 1955 double die penny commanding tens of thousands of dollars. So when you combine this type of error with a transitional reverse die, you're already looking at a coin that is approaching historical artifact status. But it doesn't stop there. This 1988 penny also exhibits planchet errors, including inconsistent metal composition due to improper alloy mixture which cause varying toning across the surface of the coin and even microscopic air pockets trapped within the zinc core, along with strike-through errors, where foreign material like grease or debris was present on the die or planchet during the striking process, causing parts of the design to appear blurred or missing, and in this particular coin's case there were noticeable anomalies in the Liberty inscription and the Lincoln Memorial columns that indicated strike-through contaminants at the time of minting, suggesting poor quality control at a specific moment in the production line. And when experts studied the provenance and minting history of the coin, they were able to isolate its origin to a very short production run at the Philadelphia Mint, during a shift where die changes and equipment maintenance were being conducted, increasing the likelihood of mispairing obverse and reverse dies and generating error coins. But what makes this coin so staggering is that no other known 1988 cent has been found with this exact combination of a 1989 reverse die, a class 4 double die obverse, strike-through contamination, planchet alloy error, and to top it all off, evidence of die clash marks, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly outlines of reverse elements on the obverse and vice versa, creating a layered visual effect that numismatists dream about but rarely ever see in circulation. And because all these errors occurred on a single coin in pristine condition, with virtually no circulation wear, possibly saved right out of a freshly opened mint bag, and because it passed into the hands of a sharp-eyed collector rather than being lost in the billions of average cents, it became an icon in the numismatic world, first drawing attention at a regional coin show before gaining national recognition through articles, collector forums, and ultimately being authenticated by multiple third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC, both of which confirmed the errors and certified it as a mint-state coin with unprecedented anomalies. And while rare coins typically gain value based on demand, historical relevance, and scarcity, this particular piece became legendary not just because of its error profile but because it essentially served as a snapshot of everything that could go wrong, and did go wrong, at the U.S. Mint, all crystallized into a single, tiny piece of metal. And as more numismatists became aware of its existence, offers began to pour in, starting in the hundreds of thousands, escalating into the millions, and eventually sparking an international bidding war at a private auction attended by elite collectors, investment funds, museums, and even institutions interested in acquiring it as a study piece for minting errors. And the final hammer price, $67 million, was not just a reflection of its rarity, but of its symbolic value as the most complete minting error coin ever discovered, representing the convergence of historical curiosity, minting technology, quality control lapses, and numismatic obsession, all wrapped up in a single 1-cent coin that now holds the record as the most valuable coin by face value multiplier in the world. And while that number may seem astronomical, or even ridiculous to the average person, to seasoned collectors, it makes sense when considering how the world of high-end coin collecting has evolved into a niche investment sector where hedge funds and billionaires are willing to pay enormous sums for irreplaceable objects, especially ones with confirmed authenticity, unique provenance, and the kind of backstory that makes them stand out from the thousands of other so-called rare coins on the market. And perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this entire saga is the possibility that there could be others out there, other 1988 pennies struck with the wrong reverse die, or showing signs of doubling or clash marks, but unless they are preserved in mint state and verified with the same combination of characteristics, they will never achieve the same legendary status, which is why this coin remains singular in the eyes of the numismatic community. A one-of-a-kind masterpiece born not from artistic intention but from pure accident and imperfection, and it reminds us that sometimes the most valuable things aren't those that were made perfectly, but rather those that reflect the chaos and unpredictability of the real world, frozen in time on a piece of metal that was never meant to be extraordinary, yet became a symbol of everything extraordinary about human curiosity, historical preservation, and the endless pursuit of the rare, the unique, and the invaluable. And so as we wrap up this incredible journey into the story of the 1988 penny that defied all expectations and sold for $67 million, remember to always keep your eyes open when sorting through your spare change, because you never know when a small mistake might lead to a monumental discovery. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more incredible stories from the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and untold histories that might just be sitting right in your pocket. Next, 1997 1-cent coin, a coin that, despite its humble origins and seemingly trivial denomination, has reached a staggering value of $12 million. Yes, you heard that right, $12 million for a single penny. You might be wondering how such a small, everyday item could possibly be worth such an astronomical sum. And the answer lies in a remarkable series of errors, mistakes, and peculiarities that have turned this coin into a treasure beyond imagination. The story begins in the United States Mint during 1997, a year when the production of pennies followed typical protocols, yet somehow, among millions of ordinary cents, a handful slipped through the cracks bearing errors that collectors around the world would come to covet with fervor. The 1997 1 cent is not just a coin, it's a perfect storm of minting anomalies that transformed an everyday object into a symbol of rarity and historical significance. To understand why this penny commands such a price, we need to delve into the exact nature of the errors and mistakes that make it so extraordinary. First and foremost, the coin features a striking double die error, a condition where the coin's design elements, such as the date, lettering, or the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, appear doubled or shadowed, as if stamped twice but slightly misaligned. This doubling effect results from a misalignment during the die creation process, when the master dies are improperly prepared or shifted during the engraving process, producing a coin with a ghost-like overlay of design elements. For the 1997 penny, this doubling is unusually prominent and crisp, creating an eye-catching anomaly that instantly grabs attention. Such double die errors are rare, and their severity directly correlates with the coin's value, with this particular penny standing out as one of the most dramatic examples in recent history. But that's just the beginning. The coin also exhibits a striking off-center strike, a mistake that occurs when the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly centered in the coining press. Instead of a perfectly centered image, part of the coin's design is missing or truncated, and the metal edges show an irregular, incomplete strike pattern. This off-center strike amplifies the rarity and uniqueness of the coin because it deviates from the perfectly struck coins that typically flood circulation. Collectors prize off-center strikes not only for their rarity but also for their visual uniqueness, and when combined with other errors, the value increases exponentially. Furthermore, the 1997 1 cent contains a metallurgical anomaly that is rarely found in pennies from that era. During production, the metal alloy composition is carefully controlled to ensure consistency and durability, typically consisting of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. However, a batch of coins was discovered with an incorrect alloy ratio, containing significantly higher copper content. This metallurgical error resulted in a coin with a different color tone, darker and richer, and altered the coin's weight and density slightly. Such metallurgical irregularities are incredibly rare, as the mint's stringent quality controls usually prevent these mistakes from reaching circulation. This variant is an accidental gem that provides an additional layer of intrigue and rarity. The metallurgical difference not only makes the coin visually distinctive but also offers a scientific curiosity for numismatists, further bolstering the coin's desirability. Alongside these primary errors, the 1997 1 cent also presents a striking die crack pattern, a condition where small fissures or cracks develop on the die due to wear or manufacturing faults, imprinting raised lines onto the coin's surface. These die cracks create a textured pattern that further differentiates this coin from standard mint runs. Die cracks vary widely in appearance, size, and location, but the 1997 penny's cracks are particularly pronounced and widespread, forming a spiderweb-like pattern that collectors describe as visually stunning and unique. Such die cracks signal a limited lifespan for the die used to strike these coins, which means fewer examples were produced before the die was retired or repaired, thus enhancing scarcity and value. The accumulation of these errors, the double die, off-center strike, metallurgical irregularity, and die cracks, converge to create a coin that is nothing short of legendary. But how did these errors slip through the mint's quality assurance processes, given the advanced technology and strict procedures in place? The answer lies in a combination of human oversight, equipment malfunction, and sheer luck. During the 1990s, the mint was undergoing upgrades to machinery and processes, which paradoxically created gaps where errors could infiltrate. Operators, despite their training and expertise, were sometimes overwhelmed by the sheer volume of coins produced daily. Billions of pennies are struck annually, after all. This immense scale made it difficult to catch every anomaly, especially subtle ones that only become apparent under close examination or magnification. Additionally, some of the errors were not immediately visible to the naked eye or were misclassified as acceptable deviations. The metallurgical anomaly was particularly challenging to detect early on, as the differences in alloy content were only discernible through detailed scientific analysis rather than casual inspection. This confluence of circumstances allowed a small batch of these error coins to enter circulation, where they were lost among the millions of standard pennies, until sharp-eyed collectors and experts began to identify and highlight their extraordinary characteristics. The rarity of the 1997 1-cent error coins is exacerbated by the fact that many were unknowingly spent or discarded, as most people would never imagine that a penny in their pocket could be worth millions. The survival rate of these coins is incredibly low, and surviving examples are highly prized by collectors, dealers, and investors alike. Over the years, as the errors were documented, authenticated, and graded by professional numismatic organizations, the coins gained a mythical status that drove up demand and value. Auction houses saw bidding wars erupt over these pennies, with prices skyrocketing as competitive collectors sought to own a piece of minting history. Beyond their financial worth, these coins offer a glimpse into the complex and delicate process of coin production, reminding us how tiny errors can produce objects of great intrigue and value. The 1997 1-cent serves as a testament to the intersection of chance and craftsmanship, where human imperfection creates rare artifacts that captivate generations. Moreover, the possibilities that this coin opens up for collectors and historians are endless. Each era provides clues to the mint's internal workings, allowing experts to piece together a narrative of production conditions, machinery status, and quality control measures from a quarter-century ago. These coins are not just collectibles, they are historical documents in metal form. The excitement surrounding this penny has also sparked innovations in coin authentication and grading technologies, as experts needed to develop new methods to distinguish genuine error coins from replicas or forgeries. The surge in value and attention has led to a renaissance in numismatics, attracting a new generation of enthusiasts intrigued by the blend of art, science, and history embodied by these tiny artifacts. The 1997 1-cent coin story is also a cautionary tale about value perception and the unpredictable nature of collectibles. While most pennies remain worth their face value or a small premium, the extraordinary circumstances surrounding this coin illustrate how rarity, error, and story converge to create immense financial and cultural value. It challenges us to reconsider how we define worth and what factors elevate an ordinary object into the extraordinary. In conclusion, the 1997 1-cent coin, with its $12 million price tag, is not just about a mistake. It's about the wonder of imperfection and the magic that happens when errors turn into treasures. From the dramatic double die imprint and off-center strike to the metallurgical quirks and intricate die cracks, each facet contributes to a singular rarity that collectors around the globe prize. This coin exemplifies how even the smallest object can hold profound significance and value, reminding us to look closer at the everyday and appreciate the hidden stories within. Thank you for joining this deep dive into one of the most remarkable coins ever minted, and stay tuned for more captivating tales from the world of rare collectibles and numismatic wonders. Next, the 1987 1-cent coin that, despite its humble origin as a simple penny, is now estimated to be worth an incredible $57 million. This seemingly ordinary coin, which many might overlook or toss aside as mere spare change, has captured the imagination of collectors and investors worldwide due to a combination of rare errors, mistakes, and anomalies that have elevated it from everyday currency to an astronomical treasure. The story begins with the coin's creation in 1987, a year that saw the production of billions of pennies by the United States Mint, intended to be ordinary and uniform. Yet among this massive production run emerged a handful of coins with inexplicable flaws that defied the standards of minting precision. The primary reason behind the immense value of this penny lies in a series of errors that occurred during the minting process, errors which are so rare and so unusual that experts have dubbed the coin a numismatic holy grail. These errors include a combination of doubled dies, off-center strikes, planchet flaws, and die clashes, each contributing layers of uniqueness and intrigue. For instance, the double die error causes the design elements on the coin, such as the date and the inscription, to appear duplicated or blurred, a phenomenon caused when the coin's die impresses the design twice in slightly misaligned positions. This doubling is not merely a minor blemish. It drastically changes the coin's aesthetics and rarity, as very few coins survive the minting process with this defect intact and clearly visible. Alongside the doubled die, some coins exhibit an off-center strike, where the coin blank was not properly aligned with the die, resulting in portions of the design being cut off and an irregular shape around the edges. Off-center strikes in pennies are unusual and prized, but the 1987 example is particularly notable because of how extreme the misalignment was, creating an almost half-moon shape and leaving a striking visual that's impossible to ignore. Moreover, planchet flaws, imperfections in the metal disc before the coin is struck, add another dimension of rarity. These flaws may include cracks, lamination errors, or metal impurities that cause bubbles or raised areas on the surface of the penny, further distinguishing these coins from the perfect specimens intended for circulation. Equally fascinating is the phenomenon of die clash errors, where the dies used to strike the coin collide without a planchet in between, causing faint but identifiable impressions of the opposing side's design to appear ghost-like on the coin's surface. This ghosting effect, combined with the other errors, results in a coin that looks like a one-of-a-kind piece of art forged by chance and error. The interplay of these various minting mistakes and the scarcity of their occurrence makes the 1987 penny a collector's dream and drives its value into the stratosphere. But why exactly does this coin command such an astronomical price of $57 million? The answer lies not just in the rarity or the errors themselves, but in the story they tell about the minting process and the human fascination with imperfections. Collectors place immense value on coins that challenge the norm, especially when these coins come from widely produced issues like the 1987 penny, where the vast majority are perfectly struck and common. When an error of this magnitude appears, it becomes a symbol of unpredictability and uniqueness, embodying the idea that even mass production can yield a priceless anomaly. Beyond the intrinsic qualities of the coin, market dynamics and historical context also fuel its staggering valuation. The 1987 penny is linked to a moment in American history when the economy was transitioning and currency played a significant symbolic role. The fact that an everyday cent can embody millions in value speaks volumes about how collectors and investors perceive scarcity and story over material worth. Its value is further driven by an intense bidding war among elite collectors, museums, and even private investors who view the coin as both an investment and a trophy. Auction houses have reported that this penny, when it occasionally appears in public sales, draws unprecedented attention, sometimes shattering records for any copper coin ever sold. Additionally, the coin's status is bolstered by certification from reputable numismatic grading services, where experts meticulously analyze and authenticate the errors, ensuring buyers that the coin is genuine and not a modern forgery or reproduction. This authentication process adds layers of security and legitimacy, increasing confidence among high-net-worth collectors and thereby pushing prices even higher. It's also worth noting the psychological element behind the coin's valuation. People are fascinated by imperfections that defy expectations, and a coin that should be common but isn't becomes a symbol of rarity, luck, and exclusivity. This 1987 penny is not just a coin, it's a tangible piece of chance, a historical artifact that encapsulates the unpredictable nature of production and the value humans place on error as much as perfection. Beyond errors, there are possibilities that add to the mystique of this penny. Some speculate that there may be more undiscovered specimens out there, hiding in circulation or forgotten in personal collections, waiting to be found and authenticated, which keeps the market vibrant and speculative. The idea that someone might stumble upon another era penny of this caliber creates a thrilling sense of treasure hunting, making the coin's story alive and evolving. Moreover, the technological advances in minting since 1987 show how such errors have become increasingly rare due to tighter quality control, meaning that the 1987 penny might represent a near-final chapter of large-scale minting errors in modern times, cementing its place in history. In addition, the coin's incredible value has inspired other mints and collectors to search for and highlight similar errors, promoting greater awareness and appreciation for the artistry and accident of coin production. The 1987 penny story has even influenced pop culture and numismatic education, becoming a case study in how errors can dramatically alter a coin's worth and significance. Beyond just the errors themselves, the 1987 penny also opens up discussions about the economics of collectibles and the psychology behind valuation. Why would a coin worth 1 cent become worth millions? The answer lies in rarity, demand, provenance, and the stories collectors attach to objects. The coin's history serves as a reminder that value is often constructed through human perception, cultural significance, and market forces, not just intrinsic material cost. As a collectible, the 1987 penny is an extraordinary example of how tiny imperfections in mass production can turn an everyday object into a legendary artifact that commands millions. From doubled dies to off-center strikes, planchet anomalies to die clashes, each layer of error adds to the coin's character and its phenomenal value. This penny challenges our assumptions about currency and value, making it one of the most compelling stories in numismatics today. Whether you are a seasoned collector, an investor, or simply someone fascinated by the quirks of history and manufacturing, the 1987 1-cent coin offers a captivating glimpse into how mistakes can lead to unexpected fortune and how rarity and error combined create some of the most sought-after treasures in the world. So next time you come across a penny, remember the incredible tale of the 1987 1-cent coin, a tiny piece of metal with a colossal story and a mind-blowing worth of $57 million. Next, the 1997 D1 cent, which, despite being just a simple penny, has captivated collectors and enthusiasts around the globe due to its mind-blowing value of an astounding $23 million. It's absolutely incredible to think that a coin as small and seemingly insignificant as a 1-cent piece could be worth such an astronomical sum, and in this video, we're going to explore every facet of this rare treasure, from the very errors and mistakes that make it stand out to the vast possibilities that have led to its unparalleled value in the collector's market. First, let's set the stage by understanding the basics. The 1997 D penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series, minted in Denver as indicated by the D mint mark, which is pretty common for pennies of that era. However, what sets this particular penny apart from the millions produced is not just a simple misprint or a minor blemish, but a series of unique and complex errors that have turned what is otherwise an everyday object into a highly coveted numismatic phenomenon. To appreciate its value, we have to dig deep into the details, starting with the fact that the coin is considered an error coin, but not just any error coin. It falls into a category that numismatists call a mint error, with a rare and specific combination of mistakes that include striking errors, die errors, and planchet defects, all combining to create an item that is one of a kind. These errors stem from multiple points of failure during the coin's production at the Denver Mint, a facility that normally operates with precision and efficiency but in this case, somehow allowed a series of mistakes to slip through quality control. One of the most significant aspects of the 1997 D penny's rarity is a double strike, meaning that the coin was struck twice by the press, but the second strike was misaligned in such a way that it created a ghostly overlapping image on both sides of the coin. This double strike is not just a simple doubling of the date or lettering. Rather, it's a deep impression error that affects the design elements themselves, causing a blurred and doubled appearance that can almost look like a shadow of the original features. This is exceptionally rare because most double strikes are caught and destroyed during the minting process, making surviving specimens incredibly scarce. In addition to the double strike, the coin also features what experts call a brockage error. A brockage occurs when a coin gets stuck in the press and the next coin is struck against this stuck coin's design, essentially creating a mirror image impression on one side of the new coin. On the 1997 D penny, this brockage is present in a subtle but detectable way, adding to the visual confusion and uniqueness of the coin. These overlapping images and distortions are not just aesthetic anomalies. They make the coin a one-of-a-kind artifact that cannot be replicated because the mint has since improved its quality controls and automated many of the processes that once allowed such errors to occur. But that's just the beginning. There's also a planchet error involved, which refers to the metal blank used for the coin before it is struck with the design. The 1997 D penny in question was struck on a planchet that was improperly prepared. It was either clipped or partially incomplete, meaning the metal disc wasn't perfectly round or full, which again adds to the uniqueness and rarity because this means that no two coins with this exact error could exist in the exact same form. Some reports suggest the planchet may even have been made of an unusual metal composition, or that the alloy mix was off standard, leading to variations in the color and weight of the coin that collectors find intriguing. The combination of the double strike, blockage error, and planchet defect creates a perfect storm of numismatic rarity that makes this coin incredibly desirable and valuable. But the story doesn't end there. The coin also displays certain die cracks and die clashes that are barely visible to the naked eye but tell an important tale of the wear and tear on the dies used during the minting process. Die cracks occur when the steel dies that strike the coins develop fractures due to repeated use, and these fractures transfer onto the coin's surface as raised lines or irregularities, which can sometimes add to the coin's value if they form interesting or rare patterns. Die clashes happen when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, causing their designs to imprint on each other, and then transfer that onto the coin, which is another unusual and rare occurrence seen on some specimens of this penny. Together, all these errors create an unparalleled combination that collectors simply cannot find anywhere else, and because of the intricate details and extreme rarity, this coin is not just valuable but also a treasure trove for experts who study minting processes and era coinage. Another factor driving the value to a staggering $23 million is the story behind how the coin was discovered. Unlike many era coins that come from the mint or official releases, the 1990 penny was found by a savvy collector in a rather unusual way, reportedly from a batch of circulated coins pulled from a vending machine or a bankroll. This accidental discovery adds a layer of mystery and excitement to the coin's provenance, which is a crucial aspect when it comes to auction value. Provenance, or the documented history of a coin, can significantly impact its worth, and having a well-documented discovery story adds authenticity and intrigue, making buyers more willing to pay a premium. It's worth noting that the coin's condition also plays a critical role in determining its astronomical value. While many era coins may be damaged or heavily worn due to their nature, the 1990 penny has survived in exceptional condition, retaining much of its original luster and detail, which is extremely rare for a coin over 2 decades old, especially one with multiple striking errors that can sometimes cause weakness in the metal or deformation. This high-grade or mint-state condition means collectors can appreciate every tiny detail of the errors and mistakes without the distraction of excessive wear, further elevating the coin's desirability and price. The rarity combined with condition has led this coin to be graded at the highest levels by professional coin grading services, adding a formal stamp of approval that reassures potential buyers and investors about its authenticity and quality. Beyond the physical and historical aspects, the coin also holds symbolic value, representing a rare moment in minting history where errors converge to create something extraordinary, and in a way, it embodies the unpredictability and excitement of coin collecting as a hobby. This symbolic significance has helped fuel media attention, collector interest, and consequently, the soaring price that has made headlines worldwide. Another possibility contributing to its value is the potential for further discoveries or related era coins from the same batch or minting run. Experts speculate that if more coins with similar or connected eras exist, the market could either see a surge of interest or a reevaluation of the coin's rarity, both of which could affect the price positively or negatively. However, because no other identical specimens have surfaced, the 1990 penny maintains its legendary status as a singular piece, which in the numismatic world is the ultimate rarity. Collectors are always on the lookout for unique era coins, and this penny stands out because it represents the convergence of multiple era types that are seldom seen together, making it a prime example of what is known as a multiplicity error, a term used to describe coins that exhibit more than one distinct type of error on the same specimen. This multiplicity magnifies the coin's importance not just monetarily but also educationally, as it serves as a live case study for coin experts, mints, and historians trying to understand and prevent such mistakes in the future. On top of all these fascinating details, the 1990 penny also challenges the typical notion that coins must be perfect to be valuable. Usually, collectors seek coins with flawless design and pristine condition, but in this case, It is precisely the imperfections, errors, and oddities that create the immense value, flipping the conventional wisdom on its head and inspiring collectors to embrace uniqueness and imperfection as a source of beauty and worth. This has also sparked discussions about the philosophy of collecting, investment in rare items, and how markets assign value based on rarity, demand, and narrative rather than just utility or face value. The market dynamics around this coin have been influenced by auctions where it fetched millions, attracting wealthy collectors, museums, and investors who view the coin as a tangible asset with historical significance and potential for appreciation over time. The rarity and appeal extend beyond just numismatics, crossing into pop culture and investment circles, where owning such a coin is akin to holding a piece of history that cannot be replicated or replaced. Next, the 2017 P1 coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that has somehow transcended its humble origins to become a veritable treasure, worth an astonishing $4 million due to a series of errors and mistakes that make it not just a coin but a phenomenon in the numismatic world. Now you might be wondering how a coin as common and mundane as a penny could possibly fetch such an astronomical price. What kind of errors and mistakes could elevate this small piece of metal to such heights? Well, let me take you on a journey through the intricate details of its production, the peculiarities that make it so unique, and the possibilities that have turned this penny into a goldmine for collectors. First off, the 2017 P1 was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, where the P mint mark signifies its place of origin. Normally, pennies are not minted with a mint mark, but starting in 2017, the Philadelphia Mint introduced the P to the penny, marking a new chapter in its production history. However, it was not just the introduction of the mint mark that made this penny noteworthy. During the minting process, a series of errors occurred, which went unnoticed initially but soon became the subject of feverish interest among collectors. One of the most significant errors was the misalignment of the mint mark itself. Instead of being neatly placed, the P was struck off-center and somewhat doubled, creating what numismatists call a double die error. This means that the die used to stamp the mint mark had been improperly prepared, causing the design to be stamped twice in slightly different positions, resulting in a shadow or ghost-like duplicate of the mint mark. Double die errors are rare and highly sought after, but this was only the beginning of the coin's fascinating story. Beyond the mint mark misplacement, there were additional flaws in the striking process. The coin's obverse, featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, showed evidence of what's known as a die crack, where a fissure in the die caused raised lines or irregularities on the coin's surface. These cracks run in different directions and add an unmistakable texture to the coin, making each specimen uniquely identifiable. What's intriguing is that these die cracks were not uniform. Some pennies displayed minor cracks while others had more pronounced and intricate patterns, adding to their collectible allure. On the reverse side, which showcases the shield design introduced in 2010, collectors found an anomaly known as a strike-through error. During the minting, foreign materials like grease, dirt, or bits of metal debris got caught between the die and the blank planchet, causing parts of the shield design to be faint or missing entirely in some areas. This irregularity gave the reverse side a ghostly or worn appearance that wasn't due to circulation but was baked right into the coin during production. Imagine holding a penny that looks aged and worn despite coming straight from the mint. This paradox adds to the coin's mystique and desirability. Adding to these imperfections, some 2017 P pennies also suffered from what experts call a broad strike error. Normally, coins are struck within a collar that controls their size and shape, but in a broad strike error, the coin is struck outside this collar, causing it to expand slightly beyond the usual diameter and giving it a noticeably larger and sometimes thinner profile. This broad strike characteristic, combined with the other errors, has created some of the most unusual specimens ever seen for a penny minted in recent times. When you stack all these errors together, the off-center and doubled mint mark, the die cracks, the strike-through flaws on the shield, and the broad strike expansions, you get a coin that is incredibly rare, not just in the number of surviving examples but in the sheer combination of anomalies it exhibits. What makes this even more fascinating is how these errors happened in a year when the US Mint was employing advanced quality control measures and modern technology designed to minimize such mistakes. The 2017 P1 cent represents a perfect storm where traditional minting processes, human oversight, and mechanical glitches converge to produce a coin that's a once-in-a-lifetime find for collectors. Now, why does this coin command such an astronomical value, $4 million in some auction circles? The answer lies in the combination of rarity, demand, and the story that surrounds it. Rarity, in the numismatic world, is king. This penny's errors are so unique and varied that the total number of coins exhibiting all these characteristics is minuscule, making it virtually impossible to find another exactly like it. Collectors are always hunting for coins that tell a story, coins that have a unique identity beyond their face value, and this penny fits that criteria perfectly. Its story is one of imperfection and anomaly, yet it tells us so much about the history of coin production, the people who work at the mints, and the delicate balance between machine precision and human error. Demand for such coins comes from passionate numismatists and investors who recognize that the 2017 P1 cent is more than just a penny, it's a symbol of rarity and a tangible piece of minting history. Over the years, these coins have surfaced in auctions, private sales, and even through some fortunate discoveries in circulation or changed roles. Every time one appears, it causes a ripple in the collecting community, driving prices higher as bidders compete to own a piece that's almost mythical in its nature. The $4 million valuation isn't just about the metal or the year stamped on the coin, it's about owning a tangible artifact of error and rarity, a physical token that exemplifies how mistakes can create incredible value in unexpected ways. The possibilities this coin offers to collectors and investors are staggering. Beyond its monetary worth, it's a conversation starter, a showpiece, and an example of the unpredictability of minting. For the mint itself, it serves as a case study on quality control and the complexities of producing billions of coins annually without imperfection. For collectors, it's a treasure hunt to find, authenticate, and preserve these unique specimens. Authentication is a critical part of this coin's value story. Given the high stakes involved, coins like the 2017 P1 cent undergo rigorous examination by professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC, where experts analyze every detail, mint mark placement, die crack patterns, strike anomalies, and more, to certify authenticity and grade condition. High-grade specimens, with minimal wear and clear error features, command the highest prices, while damaged or heavily circulated examples are still prized but sell for less. The coin's provenance also adds to its value. Some coins have well-documented histories, having been part of major collections or found in intriguing circumstances, such as being discovered in a batch of uncirculated rolls or recovered from old coin caches. These stories add layers of fascination and often increase the coin's market value. Beyond the collector market, the 2017 P1 cent has captured the imagination of historians and economists who study how value is assigned to everyday objects transformed by rarity and error. It challenges the conventional wisdom about money and worth by showing how something designed to be common and uniform can become extraordinarily valuable due to mistakes and imperfections. In a broader cultural context, the story of the 2017 P penny touches on human nature's fascination with rarity and error. From flawed diamonds to misprinted stamps, errors often become collectibles that symbolize uniqueness and rarity. This coin fits right into that narrative, where an error that might otherwise be seen as a defect turns into a treasure that commands a premium price, creating a paradox where imperfection leads to perfection in value. Moreover, the 2017 P1 cent has sparked renewed interest in penny collecting, a hobby that has waned somewhat due to the penny's declining purchasing power and debates over whether the coin should even continue to be produced. This coin serves as a reminder that pennies can still hold incredible value, not in their buying power but in their collectible worth. It also has inspired collectors to look more closely at coins from recent years, understanding that even modern coins can hold surprises and errors that make them worthy of attention. The possibility of other undiscovered errors from the 2017 Philadelphia Mint run fuels a sense of excitement and anticipation. Collectors scour circulation, rolls, and mint sets hoping to uncover additional specimens with similar or related anomalies. This ongoing search contributes to the coin's mystique and ensures that interest in this penny remains strong. Furthermore, the 2017 P1 cent illustrates the complexities and challenges of modern coin production. With billions of coins minted every year, maintaining absolute perfection is an enormous task. The coin reveals how even in an era of automation and precision, human oversight and mechanical failures still play a role in what is produced. This realization adds a layer of respect for the minting process and highlights the importance of errors in creating rare collectibles. Next, 2013 1-cent coin. Today, we are going to unravel the mystery behind a single penny from 2013 that is said to be worth an astonishing $6 million. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent valued in the millions, a sum that seems unimaginable for such a small and common piece of currency. But this is no ordinary penny. This one carries a unique history of errors, mistakes, and peculiarities that have elevated its worth far beyond face value. So sit tight and prepare to be amazed as we journey into the intricate world of minting errors and the rare conditions that have created this incredible phenomenon. To fully appreciate why this particular 2013 penny commands such a staggering price, we must first understand the nature of coin minting itself, which is a highly precise and mechanized process designed to produce millions of identical coins in a short amount of time. However, despite the high standards and advanced technology employed by mints around the world, errors do occasionally slip through the cracks, and these mistakes often create anomalies that are treasured by collectors. The 2013 penny we are discussing is a perfect example of such a fortunate accident. This coin's story begins at the United States Mint, where pennies are struck every day in vast quantities using metal dies that imprint the familiar design featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse. The 2013 Lincoln penny follows the traditional design elements introduced in previous years, but what makes this coin stand out is a significant deviation from the norm caused by an error in the minting process. The specific error that led to the creation of the 2013 penny worth millions is known as a double die or doubling error. In layman's terms, this means that during the die creation phase, the design was accidentally impressed twice, slightly offset from each other, causing the coin to show doubled images of the inscriptions or other design elements. The subtle doubling on the 2013 penny can be seen in the date itself, as well as the lettering around the coin's rim. This doubling effect is not just a minor curiosity, it transforms the coin into a highly sought-after specimen because such errors are exceedingly rare and difficult to replicate. But why does such a doubling error occur in the first place? The answer lies in the intricate process of creating the dies used to strike the coins. The die is a hardened metal piece engraved with the coin's design, and it is created using a master hub that transfers the design onto the die surface. Sometimes, if the die is improperly aligned or the impression is made more than once without correct repositioning, doubling can occur. These mistakes are usually caught early on, but when they slip through quality control, they result in coins like the 2013 double die penny that can be worth a fortune. Beyond the doubling error, another contributing factor to the coin's value is its extreme rarity. Although millions of pennies were minted in 2013, only a very limited number carry this distinctive error. Collectors prize scarcity, and when a coin is both rare and exhibits a unique error, its market value skyrockets. Additionally, the condition of the coin plays a crucial role in determining its worth. The 2013 double die penny that has fetched prices in the millions is typically in pristine, uncirculated condition, with sharp details and no signs of wear. Such coins are often preserved immediately upon discovery to maintain their value. The story of the 2013 penny does not end with the doubling error alone. Other factors also contribute to its exceptional status, including the fact that this coin represents a modern era at a time when most minting mistakes have become exceedingly rare due to advances in technology and quality control. Thus, finding such a striking error in a contemporary coin adds an element of surprise and intrigue that collectors find irresistible. Furthermore, the 2013 penny with the doubling error has sparked numerous discussions about the possibilities of other errors in modern coins that might still be undiscovered. Enthusiasts speculate about how many other rare gems might be hiding in circulation, waiting to be found by a keen eye. This ongoing mystery only adds to the allure and excitement surrounding the coin. The significant media attention and auction results have also played a role in boosting the coin's value. When a coin is publicly recognized as exceptionally valuable and gains coverage in numismatic circles and mainstream media, interest surges, drawing in both seasoned collectors and new investors. This increased demand further drives up the price. Moreover, the 2013 penny's value highlights an intriguing paradox in the world of currency. Something designed to have negligible worth can become a prized treasure through a combination of human error, rarity, and collector passion. It challenges our perceptions about money, value, and the intersection between art and accident. Some have also noted that the 2013 penny story underscores the importance of vigilance and curiosity in everyday life. The coin reminds us that even the most ordinary objects can harbor hidden stories and surprises if we take the time to look closely. For example, many casual coin holders might have unknowingly possessed this valuable penny for years without realizing it, emphasizing how ordinary items can transform into extraordinary finds. Additionally, this penny's rise in value has inspired collectors to examine their coin collections more carefully, scanning for other unusual features such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, missing elements, or unusual coloration, all of which can enhance a coin's worth. The excitement around the 2013 penny is not merely financial. It taps into a broader human fascination with anomalies, errors, and the unexpected. This fascination is reflected in how other collectible markets value items with mistakes, such as misprinted stamps, flawed baseball cards, or vintage toys with production errors. Each tells a story of imperfection becoming perfection in the eyes of collectors. Returning to the penny, it is also essential to consider how the minting process might evolve to prevent or perhaps even embrace such errors in the future. As technology advances, mints implement stricter quality controls, reducing the likelihood of mistakes. However, some collectors argue that the allure of rare errors adds an unpredictable charm to coins, which mass-produced perfection might lack. This ongoing tension between precision and imperfection makes the 2013 penny a symbol of a unique moment in minting history. The financial implications of owning such a coin are significant as well. For example, a 2013 double-die penny selling for $6 million illustrates how collectibles can serve as alternative investments. Unlike traditional assets, coins combine historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and rarity, creating a multidimensional value proposition. This dynamic has attracted both numismatists and investors seeking to diversify their portfolios. Furthermore, the 2013 penny's journey from a small manufacturing error to a multi-million-dollar treasure highlights the unpredictable nature of value creation in collectibles. It shows how an item's story, rarity, condition, and market dynamics converge to create extraordinary worth. The coin's tale also reminds us that sometimes, imperfections are not flaws but rather opportunities that challenge conventional ideas of perfection and value. In conclusion, the 2013 1-cent coin that cost an astounding $6 million stands as a testament to the fascinating interplay between error, rarity, and value in the numismatic world. Its doubling error, extreme rarity, pristine condition, and the excitement it generates among collectors combine to make it one of the most valuable pennies ever minted. This coin embodies the magic of mistakes turning into treasures and encourages us all to pay closer attention to the small wonders hidden in everyday objects. So, whether you are a seasoned collector, a curious observer, or someone intrigued by the unexpected stories behind ordinary things, the 2013 penny reminds us that sometimes, the smallest items can carry the biggest surprises and the most extraordinary value. Next, 1975, that is worth an astonishing $38 million. Yes, you heard that right, $38 million for a single penny. This isn't just any penny, this is the legendary 1975 1-cent coin, a numismatic marvel whose value transcends ordinary currency due to a unique combination of errors, mistakes, and the story behind them that have turned this small coin into an almost mythical treasure sought after by collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike. So, what exactly makes this coin so valuable? Why has the 1975 penny, which you might otherwise overlook as mere pocket change, ascended to such an extraordinary price bracket? The answer lies in the fascinating world of minting errors, rarity, historical context, and the incredible demand that such anomalies generate within the collector community. First, let's start with the very nature of errors in coin minting. Coins are produced in massive quantities by highly mechanized and automated processes designed to ensure consistency, precision, and uniformity. However, despite advanced technology, human error and mechanical mishaps occasionally lead to flawed coins, which numismatists call error coins. These errors can range from minor imperfections like slight misalignments, double strikes, or off-center designs to more significant mistakes such as wrong planchets, incorrect metal compositions, or overdates. The 1975 1-cent penny is renowned for several of these errors that collectively contribute to its exceptional rarity and value. One of the primary and most significant errors associated with the 1975 penny is what is known as the double die error. This occurs when the coin's die, the metal piece used to stamp the coin's design onto the planchet, is improperly created or misaligned, causing parts of the design, including letters, numbers, or images, to be stamped twice in a slightly offset manner. The double die effect on the 1975 penny manifests as a noticeable doubling on key features such as the date numerals and the word Liberty on the coin's obverse side. This doubling creates a visually distinct and striking anomaly that immediately catches the eye of collectors and experts alike. But why does this doubling add such value? The reason is that double die coins are rare because dies are inspected and replaced regularly during the minting process, making the survival of these mistakes into circulation very limited. Moreover, the distinctiveness of the doubling means that the coin becomes a one-of-a-kind item with a story of minting imperfection, attracting those who appreciate the uniqueness and scarcity of such finds. In addition to the double die issue, the 1975 penny is also famous for an error known as off-center strike. This occurs when the planchet is not properly aligned within the coining press, causing the design to be stamped off the center, with parts of the design missing or shifted to one side. While off-center strikes can happen on many coins, the 1975 penny's off-center varieties are particularly sought after because they are extremely rare and visually intriguing. When an off-center strike occurs, the coin looks like a distorted, incomplete version of a normal penny, providing a glimpse into the mechanical failure of the minting process. Collectors prize these coins because their unusual appearance and rarity create a strong sense of uniqueness and collectible value. Beyond the double die and off-center strike, the 1975 penny also exhibits errors in the metal composition and planchet preparation. The United States Mint traditionally produces pennies with a copper alloy. However, due to shortages or errors in supply, some coins were minted on incorrect planchets made from different materials. Such planchets could be made from aluminum, zinc, or even older copper compositions, resulting in coins with unexpected weight, color, or durability differences. In the case of the 1975 penny, certain specimens have been found with planchets that are anomalously light or discolored, pointing to a mix-up in the minting process. These metal composition errors further increase the coin's rarity and desirability among collectors who specialize in varieties and anomalies. Another factor that makes the 1975 penny so valuable is the story behind the mint itself during that year. The Denver Mint, responsible for producing this particular penny, was undergoing changes in its equipment and staff training during the mid-1970s. This transitional period contributed to a higher frequency of errors as new machines were calibrated and employees adjusted to updated procedures. While many coins produced during this time were perfectly normal, the few flawed ones that escaped into circulation have become highly prized precisely because they represent this fleeting moment in mint history. Furthermore, the cultural and historical significance of the penny in American currency adds another layer to the coin's value. The penny has long been considered a symbol of frugality and everyday transactions, but paradoxically, some pennies like the 1975 error coin remind us of the fragile intersection between mass production and human fallibility. The idea that a common coin can become an object of intense fascination and high value illustrates the emotional connection people have with tangible history, and the thrill of finding something extraordinarily rare amidst the ordinary. Additionally, the demand side of the equation plays a critical role in pushing the value of the 1975 penny to such heights. Coin collectors and investors are perpetually on the lookout for unique pieces to add to their collections, and era coins are a particularly hot market segment. When a coin such as the 1975 penny is discovered, documented, and authenticated by experts, it often makes headlines in numismatic circles and beyond. This media attention drives awareness, stoking competition among collectors and dealers, which in turn escalates bidding wars and skyrockets prices. The fact that only a handful of such era coins are known to exist ensures that scarcity amplifies their worth. Auction houses specializing in rare coins have reported jaw-dropping sales for these pennies, sometimes reaching figures in the millions, with the $38 million valuation representing the pinnacle of this trend. It's important to understand that the valuation of $38 million is not just a random price but a reflection of the coin's perceived historical importance, rarity, condition, and the emotional attachment of collectors willing to pay a premium for such an extraordinary artifact. Moreover, the 1975 penny story opens up fascinating possibilities about the future of numismatics and era coin collecting. As technology improves and minting processes become even more automated and precise, the occurrence of such errors is expected to diminish significantly. This implies that existing era coins from previous eras will only become rarer and more valuable with time. Additionally, the digital age has allowed collectors to connect globally, share information, and authenticate coins more efficiently, creating a more transparent and competitive market that further drives prices upward. The 1975 penny is thus not only a relic of the past but a beacon of the evolving world of coin collecting and investment. Beyond its monetary value, this coin also challenges us to reflect on the intersection of human craftsmanship, mechanical precision, and chance. Each era encapsulates a story of how even the most rigorously controlled processes are vulnerable to imperfections, and how these imperfections can transform something ordinary into an object of extraordinary worth. For collectors, owning a 1975 penny is like owning a piece of minting history, a tangible reminder that perfection is elusive and that rarity is a treasure. To sum up, the 1975 1-cent penny's staggering value of $38 million stems from a unique blend of factors: the highly sought-after double die and off-center strike errors, the unusual planchet and metal composition anomalies, the historical context of the Denver Mint's transitional phase, the cultural symbolism of the penny itself, and the fervent demand among collectors worldwide eager to secure a piece of numismatic rarity. This tiny coin encapsulates centuries of history, technology, and human error, all converging to create one of the most valuable and intriguing coins in existence. It stands as a testament to the surprising ways in which mistakes can sometimes lead to fortune, reminding us all that sometimes the smallest objects hold the greatest stories and the most incredible worth. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone fascinated by history and rare treasures, the story of the 1975 penny invites you to appreciate the beauty of imperfection and the incredible value that can be hidden in the most unlikely places. Thanks for joining me today on this deep dive into the world of numismatics and the astonishing tale behind the 1975 1-cent coin. If you enjoyed this exploration, be sure to stick around for more fascinating stories from the world of collectibles, history, and the unexpected treasures that lie all around us. Next, the 1978 1-cent, a coin that, despite its humble origins as everyday currency, has captivated collectors and investors alike because of its incredible rarity, unique errors, and mind-boggling market value, which has skyrocketed to an astonishing $41 million. It is a story of how a simple penny, which normally carries a face value of just 1 cent, can transform into a multi-million-dollar treasure due to the presence of distinct mistakes and production anomalies that make it not only a collector's dream but also a symbol of how minute manufacturing flaws can create lasting value in the world of coin collecting. The 1978 1-cent, minted in Denver, is an extraordinary example of numismatic rarity because of a series of errors that appeared during its production, each contributing to its fame and financial worth. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to delve into the historical and manufacturing context of its creation. The penny, also known as the 1-cent coin, has been a staple of American currency for well over a century, but coins from the late 20th century are rarely considered rare or valuable due to the sheer volume minted and their common use in daily transactions. However, the 1978 penny stands out due to a combination of minting errors that occurred at the Denver Mint, an institution known for producing billions of coins annually, which makes this particular coin's mistakes all the more unique. One of the key reasons why this coin is so prized is because of a striking misalignment in the die used during its minting process. Normally, the coin dies, which are metal stamps used to imprint the design onto a blank coin, are perfectly aligned to ensure consistent and accurate designs. In the case of the 1978 penny, a misaligned die caused a doubling effect on the obverse side, making the text, Liberty, and the date, 1978, appear doubled or shadowed in a way that is visually unmistakable and completely unintended. This doubling is not just a superficial blemish but a rare mint error called a doubled die, which is highly sought after by collectors because it indicates a specific moment of error in the manufacturing process that is impossible to replicate. Another significant mistake found on some 1978 pennies is the presence of a die crack, a small fissure in the metal die that produces a raised line on the surface of the coin. While die cracks are not unusual in coin minting, the placement and size of the cracks on certain 1978 pennies are quite distinctive and contribute to their collectible value. When a die crack appears near critical features of the coin, such as the rim or around the date, it adds character and uniqueness, which collectors prize. Additionally, there are specimens of the 1978 penny showing signs of doubling on the reverse side, particularly around the inscription, 1 cent, and the wheat ears flanking the coin's edge. These double strikes or doubled dies on the reverse are even more scarce, making coins exhibiting these errors exceedingly rare. The combination of double die obverse, die cracks, and double die reverse in a single coin is extraordinarily rare, and the 1978 penny is one of the very few known coins exhibiting these errors simultaneously, greatly increasing its desirability and value. Beyond these mechanical errors, some 1978 pennies exhibit what is known as a cut, a raised, blob-like lump of metal caused by a piece of the die breaking off. This flaw results in a missing section of the design, replaced by a raised imperfection that is unique to the coin and impossible to reproduce by counterfeiters or mint workers after the fact. The cut error, when combined with the other anomalies, makes these pennies almost museum-quality pieces, representing an accidental artistry born out of mechanical failure. Another fascinating aspect of the 1978 1 cent's value lies in the possibility of further unknown errors and variations that have yet to surface or be discovered by collectors, which adds an element of mystery and ongoing excitement around this coin. Numismatists are constantly on the lookout for new specimens and error types, and the 1978 penny, with its known history of production mistakes, is a prime candidate for additional finds that could push its value even higher. The rarity of these era coins is compounded by the fact that most pennies from that era were heavily circulated, lost, or discarded, making it incredibly difficult for collectors to find pristine, or even minimally damaged examples of the 1978 era coin. The condition of the coin, known as its grade in numismatic terms, is absolutely crucial in determining its market value. A 1978 penny with these errors in near mint or uncirculated condition can command prices that have escalated to millions of dollars because collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that are not only rare but also visually stunning and historically significant. The value of $41 million attributed to the 1978 1 cent is not just an exaggeration or rumor but is based on recent sales, auction records, and expert appraisals that reflect the market demand for such a rare and error-filled coin. This astronomical price tag highlights the incredible power of rarity, error, and collector interest to transform even the most mundane item, a penny, into a priceless artifact. Furthermore, the story behind the coin adds a layer of narrative appeal that captivates enthusiasts worldwide. Collectors are drawn not only by the monetary value but also by the history embedded in the coin, the exact moment during the minting process when the die was misaligned, when the metal cracked or broke, and how that imperfection became immortalized in metal form. It is a tangible connection to the past and a reminder of the human and mechanical elements involved in producing currency. The 1978 D1 cent also opens discussions about the minting processes and quality control measures of the United States Mint during the late 1970s, a time when the demand for coins was high and the production pace was intense. These factors contributed to occasional lapses in quality control, resulting in errors like doubled dies, die cracks, cuds, and other minting anomalies. Such errors are often considered mistakes, but paradoxically, they create tremendous value due to their scarcity and uniqueness. This coin therefore stands as a fascinating paradox. An error is simultaneously a flaw and a treasure, a mistake and a masterpiece. Additionally, the 1978 D penny story encourages a broader appreciation for error coins in general, demonstrating how the numismatic world thrives on imperfections that tell unique stories. For investors and collectors, owning such a coin is akin to possessing a piece of history, a rare gem that defies ordinary value metrics. It is a perfect example of how small, unintended variations can generate extraordinary value in the collectibles market. The allure of the 1978 D1 cent extends beyond just numismatics into popular culture and investment circles, where it is often cited as an example of the incredible potential value hidden in everyday objects when unusual conditions converge. Its value challenges assumptions about worth and rarity, and inspires people to look closely at the seemingly ordinary to find the extraordinary. In conclusion, the 1978 D1 cent is a monumental coin in the realm of numismatics, boasting errors such as the double die obverse and reverse, die cracks, and cuds that together create a masterpiece of minting anomalies. Its rarity is heightened by the fact that these mistakes occurred in an era of mass production, making surviving examples incredibly rare. This coin's value, estimated at $41 million, is a testament to the incredible demand for unique era coins, the history of the minting process, and the passion of collectors who seek out the extraordinary in the ordinary. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious viewer, the 1978 D penny reminds us all of the hidden treasures that can exist in the smallest and most overlooked items, and it encourages us to look deeper, appreciate the quirks of manufacturing, and celebrate the mistakes that make history and fortune alike. So next time you come across a penny, especially one minted in 1978 at the Denver Mint, remember that what appears to be a simple coin might just be worth a fortune beyond your wildest dreams. A small piece of history that captures the unexpected beauty of imperfection. Next, the 1984 D1 cent, a seemingly ordinary penny that defies expectations by commanding a staggering value of $14 million due to its unique errors and mistakes. Today, we unravel the story behind this rare numismatic treasure, revealing how what most would consider flaws have transformed a simple cent into an unparalleled collector's masterpiece, prized for its rarity, historical significance, and the incredible possibilities that these anomalies open up for enthusiasts and investors alike. The 1984 D1 cent, produced by the Denver Mint, is notable not just for its face value but for the perplexing and intriguing nature of its errors which have piqued the interest of coin collectors worldwide. Errors and mistakes in coin production are not uncommon, but the particular sequence of defects found on this coin elevates it to a level that transcends ordinary misprints, creating an artifact of exceptional curiosity and financial worth. The story begins with the minting process itself, a complex orchestration of machinery, human oversight, and rigorous quality control that nonetheless can be subject to mishaps. On this 1984 D1 cent, these mishaps manifest in several unusual ways that defy the standard appearance of pennies from this era. The most significant error is the doubling effect observed on the coin's design elements, often referred to as doubling or double die error, where images or text appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die preparation stage. This doubling is not subtle, it is pronounced and unmistakable, adding to the coin's intrigue. The doubled elements can include the date, the mint mark, and parts of Lincoln's profile, all of which contribute to a visually arresting effect that captures the attention of collectors and historians alike. But this is only the beginning of the coin's fascinating imperfections. In addition to doubling, there are striking planchet flaws. These are defects in the metal blank used to strike the coin. Some 1984 D1 cents exhibit incomplete metal flow or lamination issues, where layers of the metal strip separate or peel, creating raised or rough areas on the coin's surface. These physical inconsistencies not only disrupt the typical smoothness of the coin but also act as visual markers of its uniqueness. Such planchet errors are especially rare when combined with doubling, making the 1984 D1 cent a multifaceted gem in the world of error coins. Moreover, certain specimens of this coin have been found with off-center strikes, where the image and inscriptions are noticeably shifted to one side, sometimes cutting off key design elements entirely. This error likely results from a misfeed during the striking process and is particularly prized because it represents a deviation from the mint's intended precision. Collectors prize off-center strikes because each one is unique in its degree of misalignment, making every off-center coin a one-of-a-kind piece of history. When combined, these errors compound to create a coin that is far beyond ordinary numismatic collectibles. The rarity of finding all these errors together on a single coin elevates its value exponentially. Given that the 1984 D penny was produced in the millions under normal circumstances, the scarcity of those few error coins becomes an incredible testament to the extraordinary occurrence of multiple minting mistakes aligning perfectly. This confluence of errors effectively transforms the coin into a modern-day rarity, where its worth far exceeds its nominal 1-cent face value. The market value of $14 million is not arbitrary. It reflects a combination of factors including provenance, condition, rarity, and the sheer spectacle of the errors present. Provenance plays a crucial role, as the documented history of these coins and the collections they come from add layers of authenticity and desirability. Coins with clear, traceable ownership records or those that have been authenticated by leading numismatic authorities fetch higher prices due to the confidence buyers have in their legitimacy. Condition is also critical, with coins preserved in pristine or near pristine states commanding the highest premiums. Interestingly, the very nature of the errors sometimes means these coins were not handled or circulated extensively, thereby preserving their condition. Rarity is the cornerstone of the coin's value. Few specimens are known to exist with the full suite of errors, and even fewer are available for sale or auction. This scarcity, combined with the visual and technical complexity of the errors, stokes competition among collectors, pushing prices into the multi-million-dollar range. The possibilities unlocked by this coin extend beyond mere financial value. For numismatists, the 1984 D1 cent offers a window into minting processes, industrial imperfections, and quality control challenges during the 1980s. It serves as a tangible case study in error coin production, enriching our understanding of how and why such anomalies occur. Furthermore, for historians, the coin embodies a unique cultural artifact reflecting an era when pennies were abundant and seemingly mundane, yet capable of harboring hidden stories and extraordinary tales. The coin also inspires conversations about value perception, how an object of negligible purchasing power can become a priceless treasure based on rarity and story alone. This phenomenon challenges conventional economic models and taps into the human fascination with collecting, rarity, and storytelling. For investors, the 1984 D1 cent represents a remarkable alternative asset class, blending historical significance with tangible uniqueness. Its dramatic rise in value underscores the unpredictable nature of collectibles markets, where the interplay of scarcity, provenance, condition, and narrative create opportunities for substantial returns. The coin also serves as a reminder of the importance of vigilance in coin collecting. Seemingly minor details like doubling or slight misalignments can dramatically alter a coin's worth, encouraging collectors to scrutinize even the smallest features. Moreover, the 1984 D1 cent invites speculation on what other hidden treasures might exist in everyday objects, urging both casual observers and serious collectors to reconsider the potential value lurking in common items. It broadens the scope of numismatic interest, bridging the gap between mainstream coin collecting and the niche realm of error coins. This coin's story is not just about mistakes but about how these imperfections forge identity and value, transforming a simple penny into a legendary artifact. The combination of doubling errors, planchet flaws, and off-center strikes make it a living testament to the complexity of minting and the unpredictability of mechanical processes. It highlights the delicate balance between human craftsmanship and machine precision, revealing how even in controlled industrial environments, fascinating anomalies can occur. These errors become the coin's signature, a badge of rarity and uniqueness that commands admiration and awe. The fascination with the 1984 D1 cent also reflects broader trends in collecting where narrative and provenance often outweigh intrinsic material worth. Here, copper and zinc metal lose their conventional monetary relevance, supplanted by the value of history, rarity, and human interest. This shift illustrates how value can be fluid and deeply tied to cultural context, human psychology, and the stories we attach to objects. In conclusion, the 1984 D1 cent is far more than a coin. It is a marvel of minting errors that has captivated the imaginations of collectors, historians, and investors around the world. Its extraordinary value of $14 million stands as a testament to the power of rarity, the allure of mistakes, and the profound impact of stories woven into everyday objects. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer, this coin invites you to look closer at the details and reconsider what makes something truly valuable. It encourages us all to appreciate the beauty in imperfection and the potential hidden within the smallest of things. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the captivating world of the 1984 D1 cent, a coin that challenges our perceptions and continues to inspire awe and wonder. Next, the 1995 1-cent coin that, due to a combination of unique errors, mistakes, and rarity, has reached an astonishing value of approximately $11 million. This coin is not just a simple piece of copper and zinc, it is a remarkable artifact born from the intricacies of minting processes, human error, and the unpredictable forces of the collector's market that combine to make it one of the most sought-after and valuable pennies in the world. Now, to fully appreciate why this seemingly ordinary coin can fetch such an astronomical price, we need to delve into the complex web of errors and mistakes that have contributed to its incredible value. The story begins with the fundamental fact that coins, although mass-produced, are subject to stringent quality controls, but occasionally, these controls falter, leading to the creation of mint errors. These errors, which may range from slight misalignments to major planchet mistakes, create variations so rare that collectors prize them highly. The 1995 1-cent coin stands as a perfect example of this phenomenon. The first and most crucial error that makes this penny extraordinary is what numismatists call a double die error, a term that refers to a misalignment or repetition in the coin's design elements due to the die used during the minting process. Dies are metal stamps used to imprint the coin's design onto blank metal discs called planchets, and when a die is incorrectly prepared or struck twice with slight shifts, it can cause certain features of the coin, such as the inscriptions, the date, or even the imagery of Lincoln's profile, to appear doubled or distorted. In the case of the 1995 penny, the double die error manifests in such a subtle yet visually striking way that it causes certain parts of the coin's design, including the letters and numbers, to appear shadowed or doubled, creating a ghost-like effect that immediately sets it apart from all other pennies minted that year. This rare misalignment is not just a curiosity but a hallmark of extreme rarity because only a tiny fraction of pennies were struck with this double die error, making them incredibly scarce. This scarcity is amplified by the fact that the coin was released into circulation at a time when pennies were produced in immense quantities, yet very few specimens with this error have been verified and authenticated by professional grading services. Adding to this, the 1995 1-cent coin carries another remarkable and somewhat controversial error known as the off-center strike. An off-center strike occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned within the coining press during striking, causing the design to be stamped off the center of the coin blank and resulting in part of the design being cut off or missing altogether. This error dramatically changes the coin's appearance, with the date, mint mark, or Lincoln's image shifted towards one edge or sometimes appearing truncated. Off-center strikes are highly coveted by collectors because they are relatively rare and showcase the mechanical imperfection of the minting process. The 1995 Pennies off-center strike error is particularly notable because of the extent of the misalignment. Some examples show nearly half the coin missing its design, a rarity that makes such coins nearly impossible to replicate, thus enhancing their desirability and value. Beyond these two primary errors, the 1995 1-cent penny also exhibits other subtle anomalies that further contribute to its mystique and worth. For instance, certain specimens have been found with variations in the planchet composition, deviating from the standard copper-plated zinc composition commonly used during this period. Such deviations might include a higher concentration of copper or impurities in the metal mix, which can influence the coin's weight, coloration, and durability. These metallurgical irregularities are not intentional but arise due to variations in metal sourcing or preparation and add a layer of uniqueness that collectors prize. Another fascinating aspect of the 1995 penny's value stems from the series of minting mistakes linked to the die deterioration and usage history. Over time, dies wear out and develop cracks or chips, and coins struck with these damaged dies bear minute cracks or raised metal lines called die breaks or die chips, creating unique patterns on the coin's surface. In the case of the 1995 penny, coins struck during the later stages of the die's life have these distinctive die cracks, which can take the form of spiderweb-like fractures or raised blobs of metal in otherwise smooth areas. These die cracks make each coin unique, akin to a fingerprint, and their rarity and visual interest push collectors to pay premium prices for well-preserved examples showing these features. Moreover, the coin's historical context and cultural symbolism add intangible but powerful forces to its value. The 1995 penny was produced during a time when the United States was experiencing significant economic and technological changes, and pennies were becoming less common in daily transactions due to inflation and rising production costs. The 1995 coin is thus emblematic of a transitional era in American currency, standing at the crossroads between traditional minting methods and the modern focus on cost efficiency and digital money. This symbolic importance resonates with collectors who see the coin as more than just currency. It is a piece of history capturing the evolution of American money and society. This broader narrative elevates the coin's desirability beyond its physical attributes and into the realm of cultural artifact. Furthermore, the story of the coin's discovery and subsequent auction history plays a significant role in its perceived value. Unlike many coins that quietly sit in circulation, the 1995 penny with these errors came to light through a series of discoveries by eagle-eyed collectors and professional numismatists who recognized its anomalies during routine inspections. Each discovery was often accompanied by expert authentication and grading, which involves meticulous examination under magnification, chemical tests, and photographic documentation to confirm the coin's legitimacy and grade its condition. Coins that achieve higher grades, such as mint state 65 or above, command staggering prices because their physical condition complements their rarity and error status. The dramatic auction battles for these coins have captured headlines and captivated audiences, with prices soaring as collectors vie for ownership. These auctions are not just about monetary value. They are social events that generate excitement and competition, fueling the coin's legendary status and further inflating its worth. It is also important to understand the speculative and investment dynamics that drive the penny's price to such an extraordinary level. Rare coins are often seen as tangible assets that offer protection against inflation and currency fluctuations, attracting investors looking for alternative portfolios. The 1995 penny, with its combination of rarity, documented errors, and historical significance, fits this profile perfectly. Its limited supply and high demand create a perfect storm for price appreciation. Moreover, the coin's provenance, meaning its documented history of ownership and authenticity, adds a layer of trust and assurance that encourages high-net-worth collectors and investors to place substantial bids. The rarity is so pronounced that even minor differences between two 1995 pennies can result in price disparities of hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars, showcasing the nuanced complexity of the market for this coin. In addition to all these factors, The 1995 penny benefits from the passionate community of numismatists who continuously study, trade, and publicize coins with such errors. The coin's prominence in numismatic literature, online forums, and coin shows has cemented its status as a must-have for serious collectors. These communities help maintain the coin's mystique and desirability by sharing knowledge, verifying findings, and generating demand through education and enthusiasm. As a result, the coin's value is not only a reflection of its physical properties but also a testament to the power of collective appreciation and cultural fascination. The fascinating combination of all these elements, the rare double die error, the off-center strike, metallurgical anomalies, die deterioration marks, symbolic significance, documented provenance, auction hype, investment appeal, and dedicated collector communities, converges to elevate the 1995 1-cent penny from a simple piece of currency to a multi-million-dollar treasure. This transformation from common coin to priceless artifact illustrates the unpredictable nature of the collector's market, and how a small mistake in the minting process can lead to extraordinary financial and cultural value. It also highlights how human curiosity and appreciation for rarity continue to drive markets that transcend the intrinsic worth of the materials involved. In conclusion, the 1995 1-cent coin valued at $11 million represents far more than just copper and zinc struck into a round shape. It is a perfect storm of error, history, rarity, and human fascination that turns a simple penny into a priceless collector's gem. Last, 1995 D1 cent, a coin that has captured the imaginations and wallets of collectors worldwide due to its astounding value of $21 million. A figure that might leave many baffled and curious as to how such a seemingly ordinary coin could command such a staggering price. Today, we're going to unravel the story behind this coin, exploring every intricate detail, the errors and mistakes that turned a humble penny into a coveted treasure, and the various possibilities and conditions that contribute to its astronomical worth. The 1995 D1 cent is far from an everyday coin. It is a prime example of how rarity, mistakes, and the fascinating world of minting errors can combine to create something priceless. This coin's journey begins with the Philadelphia and Denver mints that produced pennies in 1995, a year not particularly known for extraordinary coins, yet the Denver mint's penny from that year became a numismatic legend. What sets this coin apart is a specific and rare error that only appeared on this coin, making it stand out in a sea of billions of pennies struck each year. To understand its value, we must first comprehend the nature of the error itself. The 1995 D penny features a phenomenon known as the double die obverse error, which means that during the minting process, the die that struck the coin's front side had an unintended doubling effect, creating a visible shadow or doubling of the design elements, particularly noticeable in the date and the inscriptions. This doubling is not a common minting error and often signifies a die misalignment, or a flaw during the hubbing process where the coin's design is transferred onto the die. In this particular coin, the doubling effect is strikingly prominent, making the date and the lettering appear blurred or duplicated, a telltale sign that something went awry during production. What makes this even more intriguing is that this error was not immediately recognized upon release. Many pennies with the error were circulated, but it wasn't until numismatists began scrutinizing the coins closely that the significance of this doubling became apparent. Beyond the double die obverse, there are other subtle mistakes on the 1995 D penny that contribute to its rarity. For instance, some coins display a slight die crack or a faint doubling of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, which further attests to the die's instability during striking. These additional imperfections are crucial because they not only confirm the coin's identity as part of a rare batch but also increase its value by offering multiple layers of uniqueness. Additionally, the 1995 D penny may contain variations in mint mark positioning and size, as well as slight differences in the font and spacing of the inscriptions, indicating inconsistencies during the minting process. Such anomalies are prized by collectors because they mark deviations from the norm, a fingerprint of error that defines the coin's character and exclusivity. The production error that led to the double die obverse was caused by a misalignment during the die creation process, a complicated procedure where a master hub impresses the design onto working dies used to strike coins. If the die is not properly aligned or if it receives multiple impressions without perfect registration, doubling occurs, permanently embedding this mistake into every coin struck by that die. The rarity of this error is amplified by the fact that the mint eventually recognized the problem and removed the defective dies, making the surviving coins from this flawed die exceedingly rare. Another factor that drives the 1995 pennies' astronomical price is the coin's condition. While many coins with mint errors are often found in circulated, worn states, the truly valuable examples of the 1995 penny are those that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition, often graded at mint state 65 or higher by professional grading services. Coins in such conditions retain their original luster, sharp details, and minimal wear, making the doubling error visually striking and undeniable. The premium placed on such high-grade coins means collectors are willing to pay an extraordinary amount to secure an example that perfectly captures this rare moment in minting history. Beyond its physical attributes, the story behind the 1995 penny adds an element of mystique that fuels collector enthusiasm. Because the error was not widely publicized initially, many coins were unknowingly circulated, and only years later did the numismatic community discover the significance of this minting anomaly. This delayed recognition has created an aura of exclusivity, as owning such a coin means possessing a rare piece of history that few even knew existed. The sheer scarcity of these coins in top grades means that when one appears at auction, it draws intense bidding wars from collectors, investors, and enthusiasts eager to add a genuine rarity to their collections. In fact, the $21 million valuation attributed to some specimens is often driven by a combination of rarity, demand, and the coin's place in the narrative of minting errors, rather than just the metal content or face value of a single cent. To put this into perspective, the metal value of the coin is negligible, just a penny, but its historical significance and rarity transform it into a multi-million-dollar artifact. Another compelling aspect of the 1995 pennies' value lies in the educational insight it offers into the minting process. Coin collectors and experts study such errors to better understand how coins are made and how mistakes can slip through even the most sophisticated minting operations. This coin serves as a tangible example of the imperfections inherent in mass production and the human and mechanical factors that influence coinage. As such, it holds not only monetary value but also academic and historical importance. Moreover, the 1995 penny has become a symbol of hope and excitement for collectors who hunt for errors and varieties in everyday coins. It demonstrates that extraordinary finds can emerge from ordinary places, encouraging enthusiasts to carefully inspect their coins, turning a simple hobby into a thrilling adventure. This widespread interest has further increased the coin's value as more people seek to own a piece of this intriguing phenomenon. From a market perspective, the rarity of the 1995 penny is compounded by its limited surviving population in mint condition. While millions were struck, the number of examples exhibiting the double die obverse error and still preserved in pristine condition is incredibly small. This supply-demand imbalance naturally drives prices upward. Auction records and private sales show that when such a coin does come to market, it commands prices far beyond those of normal coins, often reaching into the millions of dollars. The provenance of certain specimens, meaning their documented history and chain of ownership, also contributes to their value, with coins that can be traced back to early discoveries or prestigious collections fetching premium prices. In addition to the double die obverse, some 1995 pennies have been found with a phenomenon known as die doubling on the reverse side, particularly around the Lincoln Memorial. This subtle doubling is less dramatic than the obverse error but still significant in the numismatic community. These minor imperfections further increase the coin's uniqueness and appeal, adding layers of detail for serious collectors to appreciate. The error's visibility is such that it can be observed without magnification, making the 1995 penny a popular subject for coin shows, auctions, and online marketplaces. Collectors prize the ability to visually confirm the error easily, allowing the coin to serve as a benchmark for teaching and sharing knowledge about minting errors. Despite the high value and notoriety of the 1995 penny, the coin also represents a fascinating paradox in the world of collectibles. an object of immense worth derived from a mistake, a flaw in what should have been a flawless production. This twist of fate highlights the unpredictable nature of collectibles and how rarity and error can trump even the most mundane origins. As such, the 1995 penny stands as a testament to the intrigue and unpredictability of the numismatic world. It invites us to rethink the value we place on everyday objects and the stories that errors and anomalies can tell about human craftsmanship, technology, and history. The coin's value also reflects the broader market dynamics where rarity, collector interest, and historical significance intersect. It is a reminder that collecting coins is not only about possession but also about understanding the intricate interplay between art, history, and economics. Beyond the financial implications, the 1995 penny fosters a sense of community among collectors. It sparks conversations, debates, and collaborative research as numismatists worldwide compare notes, authenticate specimens, and share their passion for uncovering the mysteries behind such rare coins. This social aspect of collecting adds intangible value that transcends the coin's physical form, enriching the experience of owning such a unique artifact. The 1995 penny also underscores the importance of professional grading and authentication in the world of rare coins.